Hello, my name's Troy Bench-Curtis, and I'm sitting here on the farm I grew up on that I'll be planting, well, down that way. The next one over, this one. My dad's running this one. 80 acres of corn in a couple of weeks, whenever it dries out, because it rained too much. But what I'm here to talk about is pay it forward solar, and why am I doing this? And what I'm doing is, well, I have to go back a little ways to about 1993. In 1993, there was something called the American, it was called Sunrace 1993. And what it was is a bunch of teams of college students got together and begged a bunch of people for money to build a solar-powered car. And they did it. Because if you actually try to do something creative and you get a bunch of people excited, you can do it. And, so those cars went down Highway 65 there from Austin, Texas, up to Minneapolis, Minnesota. And I saw the one from Iowa State go by, and I was like, I want to go do that. So I went there and I did that because I'd grown up here rewiring electrical stuff and fixing whatever I needed to fix, and trying to build motor controllers. And what I wanted to do was I wanted to go to Iowa State, get an electrical engineering degree in power engineering, and I wanted to do motor controllers because motor controllers are cool, and power electronics, analog stuff, that's cool. What ended up happening was I got on the solar car team, and all the motor controllers and the electronics, it all worked. And the thing that you really do with farming is you got to find the broken thing and you fix it. And so what I ended up doing was fixing the brakes on the solar car because they were dragging. The brakes were broken. So I had to fix the brakes, which irritated me, but it needed to get fixed. So then I went back, did that for a couple of years, spent way too much time. And then I got my degree and then went off and did a couple of software engineering things, computer stuff. And this was after I got out of power engineering because power engineering wasn't doing anything interesting at the time. Well, then I ended up in Minneapolis and ended up there because I got a job offer at Cray testing supercomputers, or breaking them, technically, and then telling them what to fix, which was also fun, by the way. But what I found there was a great house that first time I saw it, I was like, I need to put solar on the roof. And this was something ever since as long as I can remember, it's like, why don't we grow corn, we grow food, we grow all this stuff from the energy from the sun. Look at it. It's there. It's free. It just comes. You don't need to ask for it. You don't need to dig shit up. You don't need to pay somebody. You just get it. Now, on a day like today, you don't get as much. So you don't go as fast. I'm used to this. I grew up on a farm. You do stuff that depending on what the weather does, not on our schedule. Which is nice anyway, because you can sit around and bullshit and tell people on a cell phone stuff because, I don't know. So I did this, did the solar car, did the brakes because they're broke. Got to Minneapolis. I want to put a solar array on. And I find out that the hardest part is the funding and the financing. It's like, you can barely have a pulse and say, I want to buy a house, and they look at you and go, oh, sure, here's your loan. Which I guess leads me to another point is banks are kind of like brakes. They're a safety mechanism to keep you from doing something stupid. Like when you go ask for a loan and you want to do something stupid. They look at the numbers and they go, oh, slow down, buddy. Well, the problem was, first of all, they weren't telling us to slow down a couple of years ago. So they weren't doing their job. It was broke. And now, when we really need loans and funding and we need to invest in long-term sustainable infrastructure, like, you want to talk about long-term sustainable infrastructure, look at this combine here. It's old and rusty. It still works. And, farmers tend to buy stuff that's going to last a long time because they don't know when they're going to have a good year. But that's what we need to be doing with our renewable energy infrastructure. It's just energy infrastructure, period. Looking at what's going to last and what can we fix and repair and maintain long term. It doesn't require us to constantly dig shit out of the ground. So we come back to the banks and financing. And this is why I started Pay It Forward Solar. Because the financing's busted, and I need to fix it. So, I run into this, and every time I run into something for financing, I'm trying to have renewable energy, having clean energy, having local jobs. Jesus criminy Christmas. You want to put people to work, let's put them to work. Let's put them to work let's make everybody in the city into solar farmers with your rooftops. You guys could be making more energy than you need. Especially in the Midwest. I mean, I'm standing around here, and I've got 300 megawatts of wind farms within sight of here. Why can't we have every rooftop that has an accessible, good solar potential have it in Minneapolis? And the rest in Minneapolis, starting with Minneapolis, let's go to the rest of the Twin Cities, and let's do the whole fucking world. Why not? Because it's expensive. It costs too much. We can never afford that. Well, what are we waiting for? What else do you have to spend your money on? Is there something? Is that latest cell phone update or app from the App Store really that important? Can you wait? Can you give me $5 to help put a solar panel on the roof? I'm going to take 10%, and I'm going to use it to cover the costs that I have to, like websites and all this other stuff. And I'm going to take another 10%, and I'm going to lobby to try to get better policies. And then I'm going to take 80 cents of every dollar. I'm going to make sure that goes into a solar panel. And then when the rebates come back, this is why I'm doing the lobbying, because I need to make sure the rebates and policies are there. When I get the rebates back, we take all the money, all the donations we got, and we pay it forward to someone else. And I don't know exactly how this is going to work, because I don't exactly know what the policies are going to look like. But I believe in it, and I think I'm hoping I can convince you all that this is worth donating